Would you help me welcome Jacob Griscom? Let me hear ya.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So much.
You're a good receiver. He's a professional.
Oof.
That's
That was
hard to do.
absolutely wonderful. That was therapeutic. Man, Terry wasn't kidding. What'd she say at the end there? There's one other place that you can have that sort of experience. That topped it. How many of you in your life know somebody that just always has something to be complaining about? All right. That every time you're around them, you're just dreading what complaint they're going to have and what you're going to have to do to manage that complaint. Well, a few years back, I was working as an intern supervisor at a holistic healthcare college. And I had an intern that was one of these people that I had framed as a complainer. That every time she came in for an appointment, I was just tense because I knew she was going to have some complaint with the program, some complaint with the staff, some complaint with me. And so I just kind of manage the situation and be tense and spent a lot of time defending myself, defending the program, defending the staff. And it wasn't until along the way I had this mentor and friend of mine that recommended a book to me. And that book was the book Nonviolent Communication by Marshall Rosenberg. How many of you read that book? Beautiful. So there's a lot of people that haven't, which means it's an extra special joy for me to be able to share this with you today, because this is going to be brand new. So I read this book, and I've read a lot of books that have provided me with a sense of inspiration, that have given me new insight. But I've only read a few of those books that really cause a fundamental transformation of my consciousness and of my life. How many of you have read books like that? Yeah. Was Harv's one of them? Right on. Good. So I read this book, and I began integrating this consciousness. And the next appointment I had with her, I set the strong intention that I was going to hold this space of compassionate receiving, compassionate communication. And it was phenomenal how well it worked. So instead of seeing this complaining woman in front of me, instead I saw an intern who was scared, overwhelmed, and just needed to be seen and recognized for the effort that she was putting into the program. And when I was able to hear her like that and see her like that, she transformed in front of me. She was not the person I knew before. She fundamentally, different characteristics came out of her. And she was in tears. I was moved. By the end of that appointment, we had a different relationship. So what I've been invited here to speak with you today is, what is that consciousness that allows us to powerfully transform the relationships in our life? Whether it's with our interns, with our family members, with our business colleagues, with our parents, with our clients. What is that consciousness? And the first thing we have to learn is that the way we've been taught to think and to relate to people is mainly from what? A right-wrong perspective, from making positive and negative assessments of people, right? Evaluating situations, evaluating people. It's all in language of fear. And what do the most effective speakers or presenters or even salespeople have? Heart, right? So if we want to take on that sort of power and really influence at a level that comes from connection and understanding and essentially love, then we have to learn a new model of thinking so that we can have that level of heart. All right? Because otherwise we're going to keep doing the same thing. We're going to keep on making assessments of people. We're going to keep on delivering. We're going to keep on finding the camps that believe just the way that we do. Right? And then we're going to spend a lot of our valuable time criticizing the other camps and pointing out how stupid and ignorant they are, right? And how they're evil and how we're good. So what you've got in front of you is a handout that's got a lot of the major fundamental pieces of nonviolent communication, because I wanted you to have this so that you could take it home with you. And the first page in there is simply the underlying consciousness, the underlying beliefs that allows us to communicate compassionately, right? Harv would tell you something like, if you think that money is the root of all evil, you're not going to end up very rich, right? So beliefs are neither right nor wrong, they're just useful or not useful. And these beliefs that are useful for being able to create this language of compassion. So let's go ahead and just look at these real quick as a foundation for what we're going to talk about here. And after I say it, I want you to say it so that you can kind of get established in this consciousness, get grounded in it. And then I'd be happy to answer any questions if any of these aren't really clear. So say this first one with me. Human needs are universal. Human needs are universal. It's a connecting point between every single person, our universal human needs. Secondly, feelings point to needs being met or unmet. Say it with me. Good. Third, all actions are attempts to meet needs. Every action that every person takes is an attempt to meet a beautiful human need. We have to look for that need so that we can see the beauty in that person. Number 4, all human beings have the capacity for compassion. All human beings have the capacity for compassion. All right, we have to believe that. We have to believe that in there, if that person trusts that their needs matter, compassion can emerge with anybody. 5, giving is joyful when it comes from choice and connection. How many of you are psyched about paying your taxes? All right, sometimes, right? But for the vast majority, you don't have that sense of choice and connection to the IRS. And so that giving comes with like a grudge. And any way that we can short the taxes, more power to us, right? On the other hand, maybe you've had a charity at some point that you gave a large sum of money to, and did you give it joyfully? Yeah, because you were connected to it